the long game.
What is going on here?
The shiny, happy images is the sugar, and we're all high on it.
They were just deceiving us all.
The real story is a much bigger one.
Now is the time.
Well, thank you both for joining me to talk about Shiny Happy People, streaming on Prime Video. Blye, how did you come to make a docuseries, a deep dive of the Duggar family and other families of the IBLP?
Well, it all started with Olivia. So Olivia had been looking into this story for a bit on her own and brought it to my partner, Corey Stern, and myself. And we immediately were like, yep, we're in. This is a huge story. People don't know about it. And the Duggars are the perfect vehicle through which to explore the larger implications. I mean, people already knew who the Duggars were. They have that social platform and the built-in audience. And for that, it was the great entry point to tell something else that is far more shocking and insidious than anybody would have ever imagined.
And as Olivia, as director, how did you approach the subject matter? Were there many discussions?
I think, one of the biggest things in documentary filmmaking is building trust with your subjects and really nurturing those relationships. Coming forward is super hard. It's very intimidating to do an interview, especially for a platform like Amazon that's going to have a lot of reach. So, one of the most important things to me was just building that trust and relationships with our subjects so they would feel comfortable telling their stories.
And Blye, how many families do you think have been affected by the IBLP, so especially, during the docuseries when you were creating this?
I'm not actually sure the exact number of families affected by it, but it is an enormous reach because it's an ideology. It's not just one church. And so the ideology that was promulgated goes far, reaches out into the social fabric in an enormous way. And it becomes very hard to track because these ideologies are taken up and packaged up and implemented into homeschooling programs and local churches. And it's not necessarily, churches that say that officially ascribe to the IBLP, but they really take the teachings and the basic tenets, especially the authoritarian tenets, and they put that out into the larger, society and teachings at large.
And Olivia, what are the challenges in exposing alleged, I guess the word cultist isn't right because she's, Blye is using ideologists. So what are the challenges exposing these practices?
Yeah, well, I would definitely classify the IBLP as a cult, but it's also an ideology and belief system at the same time. So some of the challenges, I think just really getting people comfortable enough to sit down and tell their stories. Like I said before, a lot of these folks have been through a lot. So, that was certainly one of the challenges. But again, like I said, nurturing those relationships and making sure people feel comfortable, is how we get the story out there.
Now, Blye, I'm a big REM fan. I'm Generation X, Shiny Happy People. So is there a story behind the title?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously that the whole idea that what you're seeing and what is being presented is often not the full story. And the REM song actually has some parallels there in terms of how that song was brought, in its genesis. But I think the most important thing for us is that people understand that there's also a kind of a cautionary tale in here, in that we as viewers and consumers of media and these celebrities, often we don't do our diligence. We just kind of take it for face value. And that can also be really harmful when we unwittingly sometimes, support and promulgate messages and ideology that may not be what they really seem on the surface. And so that is important for us, is that people really understand that this is a look beyond, the surface, and it's really quite revealing and shocking.
And finally today, Olivia, are you prepared to hear from other families or other people who are involved with these practices, they either positive or negative?
Yeah. I mean, when you do a docuseries of this nature, I think you have to prepare yourself for, the reactions. So yeah, but what we're hoping, with this series is that really, that the survivors will be heard and recognized, and that people who are trying to get out of this organization and belief system, that they're shown that there is a way out and there is a community that will catch them.
Well, ladies, congratulations. Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets on Prime Video. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you best of luck, and let's talk again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Super. Thanks for having us.